Hello, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. I am so glad you could join us today.
It is great to be back. And today, I don't know, it feels a little different.
It really does. Usually we're digging into some complex geopolitical issue or.
Or the history of the printing press or something.
Exactly. But today, we're zooming way in. We're going micro.
We are. We're looking at a skill that honestly is probably more useful in daily life
Yeah,
than knowing how the printing press works.
I would say so.
We are talking about the art of the self-introduction.
The self-introduction, it sounds so simple.
It does.
You just say your name, hi, I'm Kust, and you're done. But for so many people it's actually terrifying.
It is. And we know we have a ton of listeners who are learning English, or maybe they use English at work as a second language.
Right.
So we thought, let's build this deep dive just for you.
That's right. So, just a heads up, we are going to pace ourselves a bit today. We'll speak clearly, try to avoid any really obscure idioms.
Then just break it all down, step by step.
But honestly, even if you are a native English speaker, I think you're going to want to stick around. I was reading through the source spec for this, and I realized I've been doing about half of this wrong my whole life.
Oh, you and me both.
Yeah.
The research we have today is fascinating. We've pulled from, well, a huge stack. We have body language data from the Q's app,
Okay.
guides on social conventions from places like Pearson and Killian AI. We've even got textbook lessons from the English Connect 2 course.
And my personal favorite, we dove into Reddit.
Yes, real-world advice and real-world problems from actual internet forums, plus some great teacher resources from TEFL.
I love that mix. So let's set the stage. Why is this so important? I mean, really, what are the stakes here? If I meet someone and I kind of stumble over my words, is it the end of the world?
Well, let's start with a question for you. You walk into a party, you see a stranger. How long does it take for their brain to decide if it trusts you?
Oh, trust. That's a strong word. I'd hope they'd give me, a minute, maybe 2 minutes, long enough to actually have a conversation.
You would hope. But the research we have, especially from places like Princeton University,
Yeah.
is, well, it's pretty brutal. You don't get a minute. You get 7 seconds.
7 seconds.
Kevin, 7
That's not even enough time to clear my throat properly.
Exactly. Before you have even managed to finish the sentence, hello, my name is, the other person's brain has already scanned you, processed you, and slapped a label on you.
What kind of label?
Friend or foe?
Yeah.
Competent or incompetent? Confident or nervous? It all happens instantly.
That feels incredibly unfair. Why are we wired to be so judgmental?
It's not about being mean, really. It's about evolution. It all comes down to a tiny part of your brain called the amygdala.
The amygdala. Okay, I've heard of that. That's our fear center, right?
That's our alarm system. Think of the amygdala as like the bouncer at a nightclub, or maybe the security scanner at an airport.
Okay.
For thousands and thousands of years, its only job was to keep you alive.
Back in our caveman days, you mean?
Precisely. You step outside your cave, you see another human shape in the distance. You don't have time for a friendly chat. You need to know, in a split second, is this person going to help me, or are they going to hit me with a rock?
So our brains are still running on that ancient, very paranoid software.
They absolutely are. So when you meet your new boss or a new person in your English class, that little security guard in their brain is running a full scan on you. And here is the real kicker from the sources.
Okay.
The nonverbal cues, your body language, your posture, your expression, they have 4 times more impact than the actual words you say.
4 times. So I could say the most brilliant thing, I could have perfect grammar, but if my shoulders are slumped, the security guard just says, nope, access denied.
Wow.
Your body talks before you do. We call this the silent introduction.
Okay, so I want to pass the security guard test. I want to look like a friend, not a threat. Let's make a checklist. What is the very first thing that amygdala, that bouncer, is looking for? It is looking for safety. And for humans, just like for most animals, the clearest signal of safety is an open posture.
Open posture. My mom used to just say, stand up straight. Is that all it is?
That's a big part of it, but it gets even more specific. The Q's app research talks about something called ventral fronting.
Ventral fronting. That sounds like a surgical technique.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But ventral just means the front side of your body.
Yeah.
Your torso, your stomach, your chest.
Okay.
And fronting just means aiming it at the person you're talking to.
So like literally pointing my heart at them.
That's a perfect way to put it. You are aiming your heart at them. You're showing them you have no weapons and nothing to hide. Think about it. If you feel defensive or want to leave a conversation, what do?
I I guess I'd turn away a little bit, angle my shoulder towards the door.
Exactly. Your body is screaming, I want to escape.
Hmm.
Ventral fronting is the opposite. It says, I'm here, I'm open, I'm engaged.
Okay, so I'm facing them directly, square on, shoulders back, I assume.
Shoulders back and, importantly, down. So many of us carry our stress in our shoulders. They creep up towards our ears.
Oh, I do that all the time.
And it makes you look anxious and tense. You have to consciously drop them. Let them relax. Open up your chest.
And what about the constant hunching over our phones? The smartphone slump, as they call it.
That is a first impression killer. When you hunch forward and roll your shoulders in, you are physically protecting your heart and lungs, your vital organs.
Whoa. So I'm non-verbally signaling, I think you might attack me. Please don't hurt me.
Yes. It signals low status, low confidence. You're trying to make yourself smaller, less of a target. You want to do the opposite. You want to take up a little space.
Feel grounded.
Okay, I'm standing tall, shoulders are down. I'm aiming my heart at them. Now, for my personal nightmare, my hands. What do I do with my hands?
This is always the number one question, isn't it? Do I put them in my pockets? Do I cross my arms?
Pockets just feel so natural. It feels comfortable.
They feel comfortable to you. But think about that security guard in the other person's brain. The amygdala, yeah.
What's the one thing the security guard is always looking for?
Weapons.
Weapons. If your hands are in your pockets or behind your back or anywhere they can't be seen, that ancient part of the brain goes on high alert. Warning. Hands not visible. Potential threat.
It's really that deep, even in an office.
It is that deeply wired into our subconscious. Studies have shown that even in a business meeting, if your hands are hidden under the table, people will trust your proposal less.
That is absolutely wild. So rule 1 is keep hands visible.
Visible and relaxed. Just let them hang by your sides. Or, if you're talking, it's great to use them for gesturing. Just don't hide them away.
Okay. Now, I saw something fascinating in the research about a power pose. This sounds like it's straight out of a comic book.
Look, it basically is. But this is a pro tip for something you do before you walk into the room.
Okay, so this is not something I do while introducing myself.
No, please do not stand like a superhero while shaking someone's hand. You will look completely unhinged.
Got it. Good to know.
The science behind this is that your body's posture can actually change your brain's chemistry. So if you stand in what they call a high-power pose.
Like Wonder Woman or Superman?
Exactly. Hands on your hips, feet planted wide, chest out, chin up. If you hold that for just 2 minutes, it can actually change your hormone levels.
Wait, it changes your actual biology? For real?
The research from social psychologists suggests it can lower your cortisol levels.
Which is the stress hormone.
The stress hormone, right. And it can give you a little boost of testosterone, which is linked to feelings of confidence and risk-taking.
So if I'm nervous before a job interview or I'm about to walk into a party where I don't know anyone, I should go find a bathroom stall and stand like Superman for 2 minutes?
That is exactly what the advice says.
Uh,
It sounds silly, I know,
mhm.
but you are essentially tricking your brain into feeling more confident. And when you feel confident, you will naturally stand taller and seem more open.
I love that. It's like fake it till you make it, but with your own biochemistry.
Ex-
Okay, let's move up from the posture to the face. Let's talk about the smile.
Ah, the smile. The universal signal that says, I come in peace.
But we all know not all smiles are the same. We've all been on the receiving end of that fake customer service smile.
Oh, the polite grimace. Yeah. The research makes a very clear distinction between a fake social smile and what they call a Duchenne smile.
Duchenne. That's a very specific name.
It's named after the French scientist who first identified it. A Duchenne smile is a genuine, real smile. And the key difference isn't in your mouth.
It's not.
No, it's in your eyes.
The eyes.
A fake smile only uses the muscles around your mouth. You pull your lips back, you show some teeth, but the top half of your face is totally frozen. It's like a mask.
That actually sounds kind of creepy when you describe it.
It is. It triggers that uncanny valley feeling in people. A real smile, a Duchenne smile, engages the muscles around your eyes, the orbicularis oculi.
And that's what gives you the little crinkles at the corners.
The crow's feet. Exactly. We spend all this money on creams to get rid of wrinkles. But in a first impression, those wrinkles are pure gold. They are proof of authenticity. They show you are genuinely happy to meet the other person.
So smile with your eyes.
Mhm.
And speaking of eyes, eye contact. This is a big one. And it can be so tricky for English learners because The rules are so different across cultures.
They really are. In some cultures, direct eye contact with an elder or a superior is seen as disrespectful, but we're focusing on the general rules for English-speaking environments like the US, the UK, Canada, Australia.
And what's the rule there?
In these cultures, eye contact is absolutely essential for building trust. If you're constantly looking down at the floor or darting your eyes around the room...
You look dishonest or just incredibly nervous.
Right. But at the same time, you can't just stare at them like a hawk. That's really aggressive and uncomfortable.
It's like a balancing act. You don't want to be a laser beam.
Exactly. The rule of thumb from the sources is to hold eye contact for about 3 to 5 seconds at a time.
3 to 5 seconds.
Hold it for a slow count of 3.
Yeah.
Then maybe you glance away for just a split second as you're thinking. Then you bring your gaze back. It's like a gentle dance.
Soft focus, not a hard stare.
Perfect way to put it. You can look at their eyes, then maybe their nose or mouth as they speak, and back to the eyes. The goal is just to show them, I am present. I am listening to you.
Okay. So we've passed the visual inspection. We're standing tall. Hands are visible. We're smiling with our eyes, making gentle eye contact. Now comes the moment of truth. Physical contact. The handshake.
The handshake. You know, it's amazing we still do this. It's such an ancient ritual.
It is. I think originally it was to show you weren't holding a sword.
That's the theory.
Right.
And that University of Iowa study you mentioned had an absolutely stunning statistic about it.
From No. the One, it blew my mind.
They found that a good, proper handshake can establish as much rapport and trust in 3 seconds as 3 full hours of conversation.
3 seconds equals 3 hours. That's an incredible return on investment.
It's the power of positive touch. But the key word there is good handshake. A bad one can do a lot of damage.
Okay, let's break down the mechanics. The perfect formula from the research. What's the first step?
The most critical part, the part most people get wrong, is achieving web-to-web contact.
Web to web. Okay, what is the web of my hand?
If you look at your hand and make an L shape with your thumb and index finger, that soft, fleshy skin in between them, that's the web.
Got it.
When you reach out to shake someone's hand, your web needs to slide in and make full contact with their web. It needs to fit snugly.
Ah, I see. Because if you don't go in deep enough...
You end up just grabbing their fingers.
Ugh, the fingertip shake, the worst.
Everyone hates that. It feels weak, hesitant, dainty. It communicates a real lack of confidence.
So you have to be bold. Slide your hand all the way in until web touches web.
Exactly. Then comes the grip.
Yeah.
You want to be firm. You're not trying to win an arm wrestling match, so don't be a bone crusher.
Right.
But you also don't want to offer them a dead fish.
The dead fish. That's when the hand is just totally limp and lifeless.
Yes. It's cold and passive, and it makes the other person feel like they're shaking hands with, well, a dead fish.
Yeah.
You want your muscles to be engaged. It should feel solid.
Okay. And finally, the pump. How many shakes?
2 or 3 confident pumps. A simple up and down motion, then stop.
So don't just keep shaking and shaking.
No, that gets awkward very, very quickly. Feels like you don't know how to let go.
Okay, so to recap, web-to-web contact, a firm, engaged grip, 2 to 3 pumps, and then release.
And remember to smile and make eye contact while you do it.
Right. Don't look down at your hands to see if you're doing it right.
Exactly. Look at the person's face.
Okay. So that's the whole silent introduction. We have survived the first 7 seconds, but now we actually have to open our mouths and speak.
And this is where the language part really comes in.
And the very first hurdle, according to our source from Pearson, is a concept called register.
Register.
For our listeners who might not know, could you define what register means in linguistics?
Of course. Register is basically just the level of formality you use. It's about matching the social vibe of the situation with your language.
I know in a lot of other languages, this is actually built right into the grammar. You have a formal word for you and an informal word for you.
Exactly. In French, you have tu and vous. In German, du and sie. But English is tricky. We just have you. We use you to talk to our best friend, and we use you to talk to a head of state.
So if the word itself doesn't change, how do we show formality and respect?
We show it through the phrases we choose. And the source material offers a really simple way to think about this. It's called the distance rule.
The distance rule. I like the sound of that.
Just think about the social distance between you and the other person. If you're meeting the CEO of your company for the first time, or your university professor or your partner's grandparents, there's a big social distance there.
So big distance equals high formality.
Exactly. You use formal greetings.
Yeah.
But if you're meeting a friend of a friend at a barbecue or someone your own age in a casual setting, the distance is short. So you can use informal greetings.
Let's start with the formal situation. Big distance. I'm meeting my new boss. What is the absolute gold standard phrase to use?
The safest, most polite, and universally understood phrase is, "It's a pleasure to meet you."
It's a pleasure to meet you. It does sound very classy.
It is, and psychologically it's great because it acknowledges the other person's value. You're
Yeah.
not just saying hi, you're saying, the act of meeting you is giving me pleasure.
Now, Keelian AI pointed out a common pronunciation trap here that a lot of English learners fall into. It's the word pleasure.
Yes, the E spelling makes it look like it should rhyme with please. So people say pleasure,
Right. It is a pleasure to meet you.
but that's not quite right. It's a short A sound, like in the word egg, pleasure.
Pleasure.
That's it. It's a pleasure to meet you.
And what if someone says that to me first? What's the correct response? Is thank you enough?
You could say thank you, but it's a little short. It kind of stops the exchange. The most skillful move is something called mirroring. You reflect the same sentiment back to them.
So I could say, it's a pleasure to meet you too.
Perfect. That's simple and effective. If you want to sound a little more sophisticated, you can say, the pleasure is all mine.
Ooh, the pleasure is all mine. That's very smooth. Very James Bond.
It's a great one to have in your pocket.
Now, I have to ask about how do you do, we hear it in old movies all the time. Do people actually say that?
It is extremely rare these days.
Ah.
It's very, very formal and mostly associated with British English. You might hear it if you were, I don't know, meeting a member of the royal family.
But it looks like a question. How do you do? It feels like I should answer it.
This is the trap.
Mm.
It looks like a question, but is not a question. It is a formula. If someone says, how do you do,
Yeah,
to you, you do not answer with, I am doing well, thank you.
I don't. What do I say?
You simply say, how do you do?
Oh.
Right back to them.
Wait, really? So the whole exchange is,
How do you do?
how do you do?
Exactly. It's completely meaningless. It's just a ritualized greeting.
Okay, so for our listeners, unless you're having tea with the King of England, maybe just stick with, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Probably a safe bet.
All right, let's move to the much more common situation, the casual greeting, short distance.
This is what you'll use 99% of the time. Hi, hey, hello.
And right after that usually comes the question, how are you? Or how's it going? Or what's up?
The great American trap.
The trap. Okay, explain why this is a trap, especially for people coming from other cultures.
Because in many places around the world, if I ask, how are you? I am genuinely asking for information. I want a status report on your life, your health, your family, your job.
It's a real question.
It's a real question.
Uh.
But in casual American English, how are you is not a question. It is just a longer way to say hello. It's a sound we make. It is not a request for data.
So if I answer it honestly, what happens?
Let's try it. I'm a colleague you see in the hallway. Hey, how's it going?
Oh man, I'm glad you asked. My cat was sick all night. I think I'm failing my math test, and my back has been hurting for 3 days.
Stop. Stop. I am already backing away slowly and looking for an escape route.
Too much information.
Way too much. You've broken the unwritten social rule. I made a polite noise, and you gave me a full medical and emotional history.
So what is the correct answer then? Even if my cat is sick and my back hurts, am I supposed to lie?
It's not really seen as lying. It's a social convention. The standard expected answer is some variation of, good, thanks, how are you?
Good, thanks, you.
Or, not bad, how about you? Or, can't complain.
Not bad is a personal favorite of mine. It feels honest without being an overshare.
It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The key is to keep the social ball rolling. You don't stop the game to give a long speech. You save the real details for your close friends later on.
Got it. Okay, so we've navigated the greeting, we've established the correct register. Now we have to actually say who we are. We need a script.
Having a pre-planned script is your best friend. Because when you get nervous, your mind can go completely blank. If you have a template, you can just switch to autopilot.
We're going to use the 4-step template from the English Connect 2 textbook. It's very simple and very effective.
Step 1 is your name. Hi, I'm Sarah, or my name is Tom.
Step 2 is your origin. I'm from Brazil, or I'm from Osaka.
Step 3 is your occupation. I'm a software engineer, or I'm a student at the university.
And then step 4, which I think is the most important one, your interest. I like hiking on the weekends, or I enjoy cooking.
That last one, the interest, is the secret weapon.
Why? Why does a stranger need to know that I like to play tennis?
Because, let's be honest, your name and your job can be a little boring. No offense to anyone, but if you just say, I'm Bob, I'm an accountant, the conversation can just die right there.
Okay, Bob the accountant.
What now? Exactly. But if Bob says, I'm an accountant and I love trying new restaurants, you've just given the other person a hook. You are creating what the TFL resources call the Me Too moment.
The Me Too moment.
Yes. The entire goal of an introduction is to find a bridge from your world to theirs. It's about finding common ground. If you say you love trying new restaurants, I can immediately say, me too. Have you been to that new Italian place downtown?
And just like that, we're not strangers anymore. We're two people having a conversation about pasta.
You've instantly moved from the category of stranger to potential acquaintance.
So when you're preparing your script, your interest should be something relatively relatable. Maybe don't lead with, I collect 18th century porcelain dolls.
Probably save that for the second conversation. Stick with things like travel, food, sports, movies, music. Give people an easy on-ramp to connect with you.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I want to circle back and zoom in on step 2 of that script. I'm from...
Oh boy. The deceptively simple question that is not simple at all.
Where are you from? We found a Reddit thread on this with hundreds and hundreds of comments. This question causes so much anxiety for people.
It really does, because we live in such a globalized world now. It's very common for someone to be, say, born in South Korea, but they grew up in Argentina, went to university in the UK, and now they live and work in the United States.
So when a friendly American asks them, so where are you from? Their brain just short circuits.
The people in the Reddit thread called it the third culture kid dilemma. They feel like they have to give a 10-minute TED Talk just to answer a simple question.
But the key thing to remember here is that, again, this isn't a legal deposition.
No. 99% of the time, the person is just trying to make conversation. They're trying to place you on a map in their head.
So let's give our listeners some strategies. How can we answer this question without needing a PowerPoint presentation?
Okay, strategy 1 is the simple answer. You just say where you live now.
I'm from Chicago.
Simple, clean, easy. It keeps the conversation moving forward.
But what if I feel like that's not the whole truth? Like I'm hiding my background?
Then you can go with strategy 2. The story answer. This is my favorite. I was born in South Korea, but I grew up in Argentina.
I like that one. The born in X, but grew up in Y formula. It tells a mini story.
And it's great for conversation because it gives the other person so many things to ask about.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, do you speak Spanish? What was it like growing up there?
And for our very modern jet-setting listeners, there's strategy 3, the digital nomad answer.
Yes, I've lived all over, but right now I'm based in Lisbon.
Based in, that's a great phrase. It sounds so intentional and professional.
It implies that this is your current home base, but acknowledges that you're mobile. It's a very 21st century answer.
Now we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the sensitive side of the where are you from question.
Yes. For many people, especially immigrants or people of color living in Western countries, this question can sometimes feel loaded.
Right. If I'm an Asian American born and raised in California and I say I'm from California and the other person says, no, but where are you really from?
That's a microaggression. It's offensive. Because the subtext is, you don't look like you belong here, so you must be from somewhere else.
It's a way of othering someone.
It is. And the sources are clear that this is a real point of tension. If you're on the receiving end of that question and it makes you feel uncomfortable, you have every right to manage that situation.
What are the options?
You can decide how much you want to share. You can keep it brief and factual. My family's from Vietnam, but I grew up right here in Texas. And then change the subject.
And there was a fantastic social skill hack in the sources for this exact situation.
The flip.
The flip. Tell us about it.
If you feel like you're being interrogated or the spotlight is on you in a way that feels uncomfortable, you answer their question briefly, and then you immediately flip the question back to them. You ask, did you grow up here?
Did you grow up here?
It is a magic phrase. It instantly takes the spotlight off of your identity and shines it right back onto them.
And most people love talking about themselves in their hometown.
They absolutely do. They'll start telling the stories about their high school or how the neighborhood has changed. And just like that, you've taken back control of the conversation.
That is a brilliant piece of advice. Control the flow.
Which is the perfect transition to our next section, small talk or how to keep the conversation going.
So we've successfully introduced ourselves, we've used our script, we said our name, our job, our hobby, and now there's a pause.
The dreaded awkward silence.
How do we prevent the awkward silence from killing the conversation?
We have to play tennis.
Tennis. Okay, explain the metaphor.
A good conversation is a game. It's like tennis or ping pong. I serve the ball to you by asking a question. Your job is not just to catch the ball.
My job is to hit it back.
You have to hit it back. If I ask you a question and you give a one-word answer, you've caught the ball and put it in your pocket.
Game over.
Game over. It's boring and I have to do all the work.
So if you ask me, what do you do? And I just say, I'm a teacher, period. That's me holding the ball.
You're holding the ball. But if you say, I'm a teacher, what about you?
Whack! I've hit the ball back over the net. Now it's your turn to talk.
It seems so incredibly simple, but I think especially when you're speaking a new language, your brain is working so hard just to form a correct sentence.
That you completely forget to hit the ball back.
You get tunnel vision. Your only goal is to survive your own sentence. But adding that little question at the end, and you, what about you, is the most powerful tool you have.
The formula is always answer plus question.
Always. I'm from Canada. Where are you from? I love this music. Do you know this band?
Okay, so we're playing tennis, but what are we playing with? We need topics to talk about.
Right. Our source from English Speaking 360 gives us a really helpful traffic light system. Green light topics and red light topics.
Let's start with green. What's always safe to talk about with a new person?
The number one safest topic is context.
What do you mean by context?
The immediate situation that you are both in. The event, the room, the weather, the food.
Ah, okay, so at a wedding, you could ask, how do you know the bride and groom? At a conference, which speaker did you enjoy the most?
Exactly. You already know you have that thing in common because you are both experiencing it. It requires zero personal disclosure.
Another green light topic, the environment. Things like, do you live around here?
Right.
Or, is this your first time at this cafe?
Or weekends. Do you have any fun plans for the weekend? That's a great one because it often leads back to hobbies.
I'm going camping. Oh, I love camping. And there's your Me Too moment.
And see, it's all a connected system.
Okay, now for the important warnings, the red light topics, the taboos. And this is so important for learners because these rules can be very different from culture to culture.
Absolutely. What is a perfectly normal, polite question in one country can be extremely rude in another. In most English-speaking cultures, there are a few major no-go zones for a first conversation.
Okay, give us a list. What's number one?
Money.
How much money do you make?
Never, ever, ever ask that question.
What about how much did your house cost? Or what do you pay in rent?
Nope. All of it's off limits. In some cultures, discussing salaries is a normal way to understand someone's status. In the US or the UK, it's considered intensely private and very rude to ask.
Okay, so no money talk. What's number two?
Relationship status. Asking, are you married? Or do you have a girlfriend?
That one feels like it should be okay. It feels like basic get-to-know-you information.
And it can be, once you know someone a little better. But asking it in the first 5 minutes can feel intrusive. It might sound like you're trying to hit on them or that you're judging their life choices if they're single. It's just safer to avoid it at first.
Okay, number three.
Age.
How old are you?
It's generally considered impolite to ask, especially if the person is older than you. Just don't go there.
And the last one on the list is a really big one and a source of a lot of cultural confusion, physical appearance.
Yes. The rule is, do not make comments about a person's body.
Even if I think I'm saying something nice, like in my culture, it's a compliment to say, oh, you've gained some weight. You look so healthy.
No, oh my gosh, no. Never say that to an American. In many cultures, gaining weight is a sign of prosperity. In America, it will almost always be taken as an insult.
What about saying, you look tired?
You look tired is just a polite way of saying, you look bad today.
Okay, good to know. I'm taking notes.
The safest bet is to compliment things the person chose. Their clothes, their glasses, their haircut, piece of jewelry.
I really like your sweater. That's safe. But wait, if I just say that, isn't that a dead end? I just held the tennis ball.
Excellent point. You have to play the game. The formula is compliment plus question.
I really like your sweater. Where did you get it?
Perfect. Now you've given them a compliment and you've hit the ball back. They can tell you a story about the store they bought it from.
Okay, so stick to the green lights. But there are times when we have to ask for something or apologize. We need to cover politeness 101.
And this brings up the idea of direct versus indirect language.
And English speakers, especially British and American speakers, love being indirect, don't we?
We do. We generally don't like giving direct commands. It feels too aggressive.
So if we're at a dinner table, I shouldn't just say, give me the salt.
That's very direct. It sounds like an order.
What if I say, please give me the salt, please?
That's better, but it's still a command. It sounds a bit like a parent talking to a child.
So how does a polite adult native speaker ask for the salt?
We soften the language using modal verbs, usually could or would.
Could you please pass the salt?
Very good. That's a polite request.
Or would you mind passing the salt?
That is the gold standard of politeness. Would you mind is extremely soft and respectful.
And the answer to would you mind is a little tricky, isn't it? If I say yes, it actually means yes, I do mind, and I'm not going to pass it.
Exactly. The polite way to agree is to say no, as in, no, I don't mind at all. And then you pass the salt.
English is a very strange language.
It definitely keeps you thinking.
And what about apologizing? If I accidentally bump into someone on a crowded street, what's the right level of apology?
You need to match the size of the apology to the size of the mistake.
So for a very small mistake, like bumping someone.
A quick, ooh, sorry, or oops, my bad, is perfectly fine.
For a medium mistake, maybe I stepped on their shoe.
Then you need a bit more. Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you all right? You show more concern.
And for a big mistake, I just spilled a glass of red wine on their brand new white sofa.
Now you need the heavy artillery. You need to use adverbs to show how truly sorry you are. I'm incredibly sorry. Or, my sincerest apologies, I'll pay for the cleaning.
Sincerest apologies. That sounds very formal.
It is. You save it for when you've made a serious error.
Okay, before we wrap all this up, we have to talk about the world we all live in now. The digital world. Virtual introductions.
Right. Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams.
Yeah.
Our lives are on camera.
So does the handshake rule apply when you're on a laptop?
Well, you obviously can't physically shake hands, so please don't try to touch the screen.
Good tip.
But the underlying principles are exactly the same, especially eye contact. But there's a weird paradox with webcams.
The webcam paradox.
Yes. On a video call, if I look at your face on my screen, to you, on your screen, it looks like I'm looking down.
Right, because my face is in the middle of the screen, but the camera is that little dot at the very top.
Precisely. So to create the feeling of eye contact for the other person, you have to look directly at that little black or green dot. You have to look at the camera, not at the person.
It feels so unnatural to talk to a piece of plastic instead of a human face.
It feels very lonely and strange. But the effect for the other person is that it looks like you are looking them right in the eye, fully engaged.
So when you're doing your virtual introduction, hi everyone, my name is S. Stare right at that little dot.
That's your digital handshake.
And what about email introductions? We can't say, it's a pleasure to meet you if we've only ever exchanged emails.
The perfect word to substitute here is connect. It's a pleasure to connect with you.
Connect. That's good. It's versatile.
It covers everything. And for a first video call, you could say something like, it's a pleasure to finally meet you, albeit virtually.
Albeit. That's a good vocabulary word. A-L-B-E-I-T.
It just means although. It's a nice, smart way to acknowledge that you're meeting online instead of in person.
This has been so comprehensive. We've covered everything from our ancient caveman brains to modern webcam etiquette.
We really have. Let's try to boil it all down into a final recipe, a cheat sheet for the perfect introduction.
Okay, the perfect intro recipe. Step 1. Before you even open your mouth.
The setup. Stand tall with an open posture, shoulders back and down, keep your hands visible, and put on a real Duchenne smile, one that reaches your eyes.
Step 2. The physical connection.
The handshake. Go for web-to-web contact. Use a firm, solid grip, 2 or 3 pumps, and maintain eye contact throughout.
Step 3. The first words.
The greeting. Choose your register. Formal is, it's a pleasure to meet you. Casual is, hi, how's it going? And remember, how are you is a greeting, not a real question.
Step 4. The information exchange.
The script. Give them your name, origin, occupation, and a hobby. That hobby is your hook to create a Me Too moment.
And step 5. Keeping it going.
The ping pong match.
Yeah.
Always hit the ball back. End your statement with a question. And you? What about you?
If our listeners can master those 5 steps, they are going to be so far ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. But remember that statistic we started the whole deep dive with, the 7 seconds.
I don't think I'll ever forget it.
Well, there's one final related statistic from the research that we should leave everyone with. It's about what happens if you get those 7 seconds wrong.
Oh, no.
The sources suggest that if you make a bad first impression, a limp handshake, no eye contact, you look away, it takes, on average, 8 subsequent positive interactions to fix the damage.
8? You have to be nice and competent 8 more times just to get back to neutral.
8 times, just to erase that initial negative data point you created in their brain.
Who has the time and energy for that?
Nobody. Which is why it is so much more efficient to just get it right the first time.
That is a very powerful final thought. This isn't just about being polite. It's about being efficient with our social energy.
It's about starting the relationship on the right foot so you don't have to spend the next 8 meetings trying to fix it.
Well, it was a true pleasure connecting with you today.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to all of you listening, go out there, stand like a superhero in a private room, look for that web-to-web connection, and always, always hit the tennis ball back.
Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.
We'll see you next time.